My prison cellmate planned to shank me until he found out I was the crime lord who owned his gang. Rico Martinez had been sizing me up since I walked into cell block D 3 days ago, assuming the quiet new inmate in designer glasses was some white-collar fraud who'd be easy prey for his reputation-building violence. I'd been serving a deliberately light sentence for tax evasion, while my lawyers handled the more serious charges, using my time inside to reorganize my criminal empire and eliminate problems within my organization. Fresh meat, Rico announced to his crew during yard time while flexing his heavily tattooed arms. This accountant-looking motherfucker thinks he can survive in here with his soft hands and college boy attitude. His plan was simple but effective. Shank the new guy to establish dominance while sending a message that cell block D belonged to the Serpientes gang. What Rico didn't realize was that the accountant he was targeting was actually the crime boss whose drug money had been funding his gang's operations for the past 5 years. Rico's intimidation campaign escalated when he began demanding tribute payments and protection fees from what he assumed was a helpless businessman who'd never experienced real violence. "Listen up, college boy," he said while cornering me in the library where I was reviewing legal documents. "This ain't your country club prison. You want to survive your sentence. You pay me $50 a week plus commissary privileges." His extortion demands included detailed threats about what happened to inmates who refused to cooperate with established power structures. "I've shanked 3 guys in here for disrespecting the Serpientes," Rico bragged while showing off a crude knife fashioned from metal scraps. 2 of them bled out in the infirmary, and one's still eating through a tube because I punctured his lung. The psychological warfare continued as Rico described how prison guards would look the other way when gang justice was administered to uncooperative inmates who thought they were above street rules. The situation reached dangerous levels when Rico recruited 2 other gang members to help corner me in the shower area where surveillance cameras couldn't capture his planned assault. "Tonight we teach this soft bitch about respect," he told his associates while explaining how the attack would look like a random prison violence incident. "Marco, you watch the door while Jesus holds him down. I'm gonna put this shiv right between his ribs and twist it until he stops breathing." Their coordination included backup plans for disposing of the weapon and creating alibis that would prevent serious investigation into another unfortunate prison death. Rico's confidence peaked as he detailed how my murder would elevate his status within the prison hierarchy while sending messages to other inmates about challenging gang authority. "This college boy probably never even been in a real fight," he laughed while testing the sharpness of his homemade blade. "Gonna be like slaughtering a sheep that wandered into the wolf den." Everything changed when my phone privilege call connected me directly to Rico's gang leader on the outside, a conversation that was deliberately loud enough for my cellmate to overhear every word. "Carlos, this is your boss calling from inside," I announced while Rico stopped mid-conversation with his crew. "I need you to handle that shipment problem we discussed before my arrest." Rico's confident expression faltered as he recognized the voice of Carlos Mendoza, the Serpientes leader who'd been giving him orders for years. "Also, tell the crew that anyone who disrespects me in here will be dealt with permanently when they get released," I continued, while Rico's face went white with terror. "And Carlos, make sure Rico Martinez understands that his family's safety depends on my comfort during this sentence." The realization hit Rico like a physical blow as he understood that the soft accountant he'd been planning to murder was actually the crime boss who controlled his gang's drug supply, territory rights, and financial operations. The aftermath was immediate and pathetic as Rico dropped his shank and fell to his knees, sobbing apologies while his crew backed away from the man they'd almost attacked. "Boss, I had no idea it was you," Rico begged while his hands shook uncontrollably. "I thought you were just some random white-collar guy trying to do easy time." His desperate explanations included offers to protect me from other inmates and promises that his earlier threats were just standard prison intimidation tactics. "My whole family works for your organization," he pleaded, while understanding that his planned murder would have triggered a war within his own gang. "Please don't kill my wife and kids for this mistake." Within hours, word spread through cell block D that the quiet new inmate was actually the crime lord, whose operations funded half the gangs inside the prison. Rico spent the rest of his sentence as my personal bodyguard, learning that planning to shank your own boss was the fastest way to transform from predator to terrified servant in the prison ecosystem, where reputation meant everything.